Welcome back to my channel once again. I'm especially excited today to tune the car that I'm gonna tune today, but some update. I don't know if you guys have been noticing or had this issue lately. This is Tyler's car. We had to stop our progress because the battery just kept draining, and we were like, we know what's going on, and maybe it's the wiring, because he did have some wiring issues before. But it turns out that, and he's not the only car, happened to my vet too, that Optimas, some of them drain for no reason, just drain out. So we sent it back, so that stopped. Louis Alvila is almost done. We're gonna build the engine probably next week, and it's gonna be put in. We have some fuel issues with the Trailblazer. We gave him a return style fuel system. Everything is fine. We hardwired the fuel pump, but for some reason it's not turning on. It was turning on when we checked it, so we got to check that again. Who we got here? Aaron's car. I'm gonna make a dedicated video to this car because this is like really interesting but very annoying problems that he's been having. Once I solve it, you'll see. This is Ryan's car. He has not much, but really clean car. We were tuning him with an MHI 18. He has a stock clutch, and then on as soon as we switched to E85, the clutch started slipping. So we hooked him up with a new clutch, and then we're gonna do the braking. That's the MR. He had tranny issues, so we just replaced the transmission on that. So let's go over to the car that we're actually gonna tune today. That's Doug's car. He contacted us a while back saying that, hey, the car's at a shop and I don't think, they're doing well with the car. I would like you guys to take over. So he brought the car over. It wasn't bad, but before he brought it over, he did this beautiful wrap job. I love this. I don't know if the video is picking up how, beautiful this color is. Green is my favorite color. And it's amazing. He had a lot of work done by us through this. I mean, a lot of little things like the seats been changed, the harness been put in, the shifter. He had a left-hand drive CMC installed in it, and I guess he was having issues, so we get that taken care of. He has a built head by us. He's running same head as the 920 horsepower Steps car. Kelford C's. He's got, this one is O-ringed, ported, should see some numbers. He's running a GTX 3584 RS, but a stock bottom. He did all this because he needed to do the head work anyway, and he basically wanted to keep the stock until future, so this way later on all he has to do is do the clutch and the bottom end. Fuel pressure regulator, fuel system. He's got 2150s, 3.5-inch intake, a single walbro for 450 in the tank. That's basically it. Pretty simple other than the head. And we're gonna flex tune him today, and let's see how much he makes. This is just base pressure. I think it was like 21 pounds. I'm just seeing how the car behaves under, wide open throttle at higher RPMs. I really didn't get to take it on the street under boost that much. I just did a couple of pulls here and there, but I was really dialing more out the injectors and MAF on the street. So this was just the beginning. I'm just doing the feel for wide open throttle and timing. On this run, there's really no changes other than a bit of fueling, wastegate down low, and by redline I basically zeroed it out. Just wanted to see where the turbo is, and then a bit of MyVec. Now that I have enough data from this run, I'm actually going to put my predicted fueling, wastegate, and the MyVec that I want all the way for the next one, and actually do a proper hit. This is on 23 pounds all the way. I'm not trying to make power of this, but I'm still dialing it in. A little bit focused on the MyVec because I feel like in the mid-range between 55 and 65, it's a bit more aggressive than I would like. Losing boost because of that. So I'm going to adjust that and try to make it as linear as possible, especially with the fuel. Same boost, same everything. On that run, the car felt a lot better. I think on this run, I'm going to just start to dial in the boost a bit more, meaning add boost. I want to be at like 25 PSI, 24, 25 on 93. This is on 24, 25 pounds. Absolutely no timing in it. Just turbo's very efficient. This system works. I'm not even trying. And then it's pretty smooth on the hit as well. So this is where we're gonna leave the 93. We are gonna switch to flex fuel. I'm sorry, E85. We're gonna mix X98 into it just to get the percentages up, and then we'll continue tuning. All right, so we just switched over fuels and flashing the base map right now. The X98 made it go to like 90% ethanol, so the scaling is going to be a little off, but let's see where we are. At this point, my outside camera died, so the following footages will be from inside the cabin. Too much fuel. This happens sometimes when the fuel fluctuates too rapidly, like the changes, because you just put it in, it hasn't mixed properly. Your car might feel like that, but you just gotta let it settle. So mixing, very high grade ethanol with, I guess, low grade ethanol, which is 93, requires some mixing time. Usually, you would go through a tank or whatnot. In a perfect world, 2 tanks is what I ask my clients to do who I'm e-tuning, and we have the privilege of, time. But on the dyno, we kind of don't. X98 mixes in the long run well with other fuels, but In the short term, where there's two tanks, we fill it up, and this has got a crossover. This does happen. But I estimated the scaling for the injectors, which typically work, and on this I just had to add more injectors. That's all I really had to do. But it's still very rich up top and very lean in the middle. So we're going to try to dial all that out. So right now I'm not trying to make power. I just want to dial the fuel in. The added disadvantage or added challenge is the fuel is going to keep changing content until it settles and mixes properly. So I did lean out the fuel up top a little bit because it was very rich, but I didn't do it early enough. If you take a closer look at the pink graph, you'll see a huge dip. Let me just clarify what that is. Let me clear this graph up a little bit so we can see. That dip after 6500 is boost being dropped because throttle being closed. In the Kelford V3, there's this awesome feature where you see high knock, it'll literally close throttle and drop boost. That's basically what was happening. I set it to 50%, which it's like 20 pounds maybe. So it went from 25 pounds to 20 pounds in the span of 500 RPMs, and that's what that dip is. So the system is working. And the reason why I knocked is, yes, I did lean it out, but it was still very, very rich, and it's a high ethanol content, and that does happen. When your system is rich, when your air-fuel ratio is rich, it will start to knock. Some people say that it's not real knock because they have this classification of what they consider real knock is. For me, other than mechanical external engine issues, everything is a knock. So the system is working, which is awesome. I'm going to dial that out, and we're going to try to get back to the proper fueling. So this is the same run, same everything except for the fueling. Still very rich up top, but we're in the right direction, and the fuel has not settled in yet. We started with 80%, now we're like at 72, 74. There was a lot of fuel left over from when we drained it. We couldn't get everything out. This happens with the walbro 450s. It doesn't sit exactly all the way on the bottom, so it doesn't pick up a lot of fuel. So just be aware. So now we have enough data on this fuel to actually push the car. I'm going to raise the boost a bit, add a bit of timing, and then we will see where the RPM should be. It's a built head, so we got to see where this setup stops making power, and consider the bottom end as well. The boost is at 27 and then tapers off to, I think, like 25, 24. And again, I'm not really running that much timing either. I am a little concerned about his torque. It's getting up there. So we're going to make another run. And this thing keeps wanting to make power along with the RPM. The setup just is really, really nice. Same boost, same fueling, same everything. Just smooth out the timing a bit and added 1 more degree. And this is where we're going to leave him. This makes great power. I think this is at the limit with a little bit of safety of the stock bottom end. On our dyno, we noticed that it's around 400 to 425 torque, where this the engine starts to go on the stock bottom, especially the stock rods and the rod bolts. We could push this to 400, 425, adding 20 more torque, and maybe 30 more torque will make this car around 600 on stock block, but that's a ticking time bomb at that point. He does plan to build a car in the future, but this is where we're going to leave him. These are the final numbers on 93 in the red and blue being 85. And the difference between the two is, I think, like 3 degrees of timing, maybe 2, and then mostly it's 3 psi more of boost. Up top, though, it tapers down at least 2 psi more. But this turbo is made for E85. It works okay in the stock location, I would say, but not to its full potential. This turbo will also make 800 or maybe more on a T3, T4, even vband setup. But a stock location, it's a little choking, but it's perfect for stock block or even maybe built block, the people who want to aim for 700 or less. You definitely could make more than that on stock location, but you would have to change out the wastegate. That's the #1 issue with these stock location turbos, the wastegate control. It's not really efficient, and you can understand why. These are huge turbos that are capable of 800 plus, but we're putting them in the Mitsubishi MHI system. It's not really meant for that. All in all, I'm very happy with the result, and so is Doug. I decided to add a little bit more detail into tuning process in this video, and the reason why I did that is because I got hints and I guess direct comments on where people assume that it's so easy. It's not easy. #1 thing that I do that I'm good at is troubleshooting, and hardware is the biggest piece of tuning. If your hardware is not right, you're getting parts that are unknown or not installed correctly or used and not functioning properly, it'll make a tuning nightmare. So we focus a lot on hardware and having everything working correctly. The second is, yeah, you need to know your components. That's why everybody tells you when you ask a question online that, hey, make sure you go with what your tuner is comfortable with. Yeah, it's because of this reason. You're familiar with the product. You can tell when it's not working right or what is, what not. Makes the tuner's job easier, which means it makes your car run better. So pick a person you're going to tune with and go with their recommendation. Don't just buy whatever you want and then have somebody deal with it. That's not the way it works. And if you're on a budget, start from the beginning. Hey, I'm on a budget. What should I do? Communication is key, and you'll be happy. Thank you guys for watching. Until next time, don't forget to subscribe. I love the comments. Keep it coming. Take care.